Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Creative Contact. I'm your host, Orion, the man who is obsessed with making great music and teaching you how to make your own. This is a super special episode I've been looking forward to for a while because I haven't had a guest on in over a year, I think. So it's been a hot minute. So this is an episode that's been in the making for a little while because I've been trying to reconnect with old friends, and there's certain folks that you kind of you dip and dabble into their journey a little bit as they go, and Franny happens to be one of those people who I've been keeping an eye on and your adventure. And you're married to one of my childhood best friends, Kevin, who I was on his pod, and he's been another guy I've reached out to reconnect with too. So it's been a long time coming. And so for the folks that didn't grow up in our hometown or even school the hometown homies too, Franny, give the folks a little taste of who you are and what you do.
Oh, geez. Okay. I wasn't ready for the trick question here. So, like that is such a, it's such a simple question, but it's also one that you're like, oh, give a little something about yourself. And you're just like, hi, I'm
You're like,
Franny
I do a million
and
things. Yes.
I'm 32 years old. I live in Connecticut and I'm married to my high school sweetheart. You know what
And
I
you're like,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
no, it's like,
you
it's
feel like
hard
you're in
to.
an AA meeting. Hi, I'm
Exactly.
Franny.
Exactly. No, okay, so let's put it like this. So you and I grew up together, so I know a little of your backstory. But for folks that don't know, so now even I knew you and Kev bounced around a little bit too, that you're in Connecticut. Talk about what is, I know, and this is something we're going to dive into a lot more, but what is one of your, I guess, focuses right now that you're
My
pursuing?
business.
You're
I
okay. So that's
started
what
a
I was.
business.
Okay, so that's what I want to dive into. So tell people a little bit about the business you started.
Simply Franny LLC. So I wanted an LLC. Why? Because I wanted to make it an umbrella. And when it's an umbrella like that, you can put shit under it. Whatever you want to put under it. That was my thought process. So my thought process was, when people say to you, they say, oh, you can't have it all. Or, oh, you can't have your cake and eat it too. I am 100% an example that says, watch me. I will 100% bust my butt to get exactly what I want and how I want it. By golly, I'm going to do it. It's my life and I'm going to do it. So I wanted Simply Franny LLC. At first I was like, okay, what are the things I wanted to put into this? So I put personal shopping into it.
Mm,
Now, personal shopping, we can dig deeper into like each category if you want, but
yeah.
it's not like a wardrobe. It's like gifts, trips, and experiences, this
Okay.
kind of thing. Not like, oh, sure, I'll find you a cute outfit, but that's not what I want to do.
Okay. Because so, Franny, so let's start with the buckets, and then we'll dive into, because a lot of these things I've been curious about. So give us kind of the broad overview, and then we'll dive into them and kind of see
Okay.
where it goes.
So simple. So the personal shopping, the harvesting, the artwork, modeling, plants, sustainability, and most recently my YouTube channel and my Twitch stream.
Let's go. Which are
My YouTube channel, you
what's the
can.
what's the what's the is it like, or is it Simply Franny on YouTube and
Oh
Twitch too?
yeah. No, it's all connected to Simply Franny
Oh,
LLC.
cool.
The Twitch stream and the modeling are a little different. So Instagram is Effieleighm, EFF. How do you spell the letter F? EFF.
Uh huh.
Lee, Leigh. M starts with my last name, Effieleighm. Now on Twitch, I decided to change it up a little bit because I wanted people to call me Effie. I thought that Effie was really cute. So like EFFIE,
Ah.
Liam, Effieleighm.
Okay.
So that's my Twitch stream.
Okay. Cool.
And what
So
do I do on those, right?
yeah, so this is what I mean. It's like you do a zillion things. So wait, so hold up, because we're gonna dive into. I want to get to all of them, but
Okay.
I wanted to start to back up a little bit before we even got here. When you graduated, and when I graduated, I don't know for your story, so I don't want to project on you,
Oh,
but for
yeah.
me, online business wasn't even on the radar, especially coming from where we come from. It's not like that was even a
Yeah.
thing. So, and I we don't have to do the whole 9 hours. But I'd be curious kind of how you even arrived here. Could you walk me through? Because it's been a while since we chatted.
It's been a
That,
long time.
yes,
It's
but
14
that's
years since I graduated. 14.
Franny. First of all, I don't even know
14.
where the time goes because that's insane. Um, wow, that is actually crazy because that means I'm right there with you. But what
Right.
what was that trajectory for you of kind of how we even got here? You can give me chapters. You can get as granular or not as you want to.
Okay. So I went to SUNY Oswego for communication studies. Why? Because I thought I want something broad and I like to talk to people and I want to talk appropriately to people because relationships mean everything. So I go in there and I think, I'm going to be a wedding planner. That's what I think. I'm going to be a wedding planner. That's what I want to do.
Mm,
So I take all the communication courses. I take this, public speaking. I take the broadcasting, networking, all of those fun classes. I
right.
loved college for learning and studying. I did not like exams. I did not like the homework. And by golly, I wanted to be out of school as fast as I possibly could. So I did it in 3 years instead of
Oh
4.
wow, you weren't playing around.
I wasn't playing around. And I was even more upset because Kevin was getting ready to graduate. And you know me, we're one and the same. Like he's got to
Right.
be right there with me. This
Right.
isn't okay. So I petitioned, took my ass to therapy to get a petition signed that I could live off campus earlier than the rest of the crew. Because you were
Wow.
supposed to be on campus, I guess, for like 2 years or something. And I was like,
That
no, that's not going to work for me. I'm
wow.
moving in with my the love of my life. We are moving in together. I don't care what you have to say. I will still come to class, but like I am not staying here on
Wow.
campus.
Okay, so Franny, I love this because I think it goes to show that you were gonna set your own path even from the jump. You know what I mean? You kind of
Even from the jump.
had that determination to say, I'm gonna do things my way and figure it out. So you graduate, Kev graduates,
And we live in Oswego,
you live in
in
Oswego.
a cute little house across from Lake Ontario. We stare at the lighthouse on Lake Ontario,
Oh wow.
right on Lake Street. Beautiful, beautiful. The house wasn't beautiful, okay, but the scenery was beautiful. The house was made out of cinder blocks, so it wasn't that pretty, and it was
You work with
cold.
what you got. Yeah.
Right. But we lived there for a couple of years. We were a block away from the movie theater. So we would go to the movies every single week on a Tuesday.
Man.
And we would go to the bluffs, the Chimney Bluffs in Oswego. They were the most beautiful cliffside that overlooked. I mean, Lake Ontario is huge. You can't see the other side.
Yeah.
Like it's big. It feels like an ocean. So we lived there. I graduated in 2011. Then we moved back home to Wilseyville.
Okay.
So in
And what
between
was the
Candor and
plan? Were
Spencer.
you like, I'm gonna be a wedding planner and
Well,
what was
no.
that?
So here's one fun little thing. I got anxiety the last year of my senior year. And you can imagine why, because all I knew was school. All I knew was
Yeah.
excelling. I did the same thing in high school. I flew through college. I didn't know anything else. I got anxiety so bad that I had to be hospitalized and put on Xanax.
No.
Yes, I
Wait,
could not stop shaking. Like I was like a chihuahua. Like it was bad. It
wait,
was bad.
was it like anxiety of like having to get a job? What was the anxiety from?
Everything. All I knew was school. I was even questioning Kev at that point. Like I was like,
Wow.
I don't know what like I couldn't grab on to the idea of anything other than school. I had mastered school so well and getting so much done in my day to day that it clouded everything that I was going for. I didn't have like a specific job that I was trying to apply for. Other people were like, "Oh, I got accepted to this company."
Yes.
It's kind of like the next thing. I didn't do that. That didn't happen for me. So, that was really hard. But we moved back home. I overcame my anxiety the best I could. I worked at a few different places in Ithaca, one being a bank and the other one being La Tourelle, that
Mm,
resort right there
yeah.
across from Cornell. I was a laundry assistant there. And I was still trying to just figure shit out. Then one day I said, I'm going to be a social media manager.
Okay.
And it was like this happens for me all the time. When I want to do something, it almost happens instantaneously as a thought, and then we just get right to work. Like, it could just be like
Yeah.
one morning, I wake up, I'm having coffee, and all of a sudden I'm like, yep, that's what I'm going to do now. And then I just dive in. So like that's pretty much what I did. I found online Susie Romans had a social media manager tutorial. So I bit the bullet and I bought the tutorial because I wanted to know what it was, and I was like, I can do that. It was like basically you're managing now. If I stuck to it, I'd be freaking reaping in the
Right.
profit, like seriously. But I didn't stick to it. I'll get to that in a minute. But Facebook managing and for your businesses, and I wanted to go around to all the local businesses in that area and really help
Smart
them
move.
thrive.
Yeah, Franny, this is a smart move, especially because at this point, social media is really starting to pop off, and I think there's a lot we forget often because it's so much happens online. Like
Yeah.
the power of just going to the local spot, the local laundry spot, or the local and saying, "Hey, let me help you manage social media," because everybody needs it. But it was just
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if everybody was convinced at that time, and so I can see how things
Yeah.
might have taken twists and turns. But
Yeah.
yeah.
It was I did it for Pucky Huddle in Candor, the quilt store, the
Oh
fabric
wow.
quilt store. Yep. And they're still, I mean, they're popping. She actually reached out to me 2 months ago and was like, "Hey, I don't know, are you still doing it?" And I was like, "What?
Wow.
No, not no." But so anyway, I started it up. I was excited to get. I had a few clients, and then Kevin at that time was working, and Spencer at the Bee Place, Tremblay Apiaries,
Oh right.
apiaries, right there in downtown Spencer. And he was a beekeeper and doing all of that, but he really was sick of it, and he wanted to try Verizon or.
That's right.
Mhm. So he got a job at a third party Verizon retailer store in Saratoga Springs.
Wow.
Uh-huh. And so meanwhile, we had just gotten married at that point.
And how old are you
We
guys at this point when you get married?
Oh, I got married at
23.
23. He got married at 22. So 2013 is when we got married.
Wow. 23,
Yeah.
22. So you guys like young, like
Yeah.
let's go seek our fortune.
Yes. And so then it was like you start in a week. You start in a week. And so we're driving to Saratoga Springs, which is like 3 hours away, looking at apartments, trying to find a place to live, to move there because it was good pay for him. It was something he wasn't going to turn down. It was a dream at the time that he really wanted to try out. Needless to say, he hated it. We did find a place, $900 right on the bar street in Saratoga Springs, and everything was included. So we move in. I take my social media marketing business with me. I try networking. Needless to say, I kept some of the clients back at home for a little bit. And then I had some back issues because all I did was sit in front of a
Mm.
computer. And I went to an orthopedic doctor and something with my disc. I can't really remember what it was, but they were like, "You need an active job. This isn't working for you. You need to be more active." So I found a job as a dog walker and a dog trainer and a house sitter, pet sitter thing. And I would drive 90 plus days and I would go to different people's houses and I would walk their dogs from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. and or
What?
pet sit for them or whatever the case. And I did that, but I only made like $9 an hour.
No, of course. Franny, that's insane. How long
I did
did
it for a couple of months, if not a year. It could have been a year actually.
wow.
And then I
It's
was like, I
wow.
need more money. This is
Yes.
not working. So I applied to Arthur Murray Dance Studio. And I was a ballroom dance instructor for 4 years.
Did you dance growing up?
Nope, they
So
trained me. I learned
really?
everything. I know you're the guy part. I know the girl part. I know all of the major dances: salsa, waltz, tango, foxtrot, bachata, merengue, cha-cha, swing. I know them all, both female and male part. And they taught me. I was totally trained. And yeah,
Wow. That comes out of left field. So that's insane. So you study there how long do you study there before you becoming the instructor?
You do like a boot camp of training basically. So you're always learning. I mean, there's
Of
always
course.
like every day you need to enhance and learn, and there's videos and tapes that you can follow, and it's a really actually a wonderful company to work for. It is not wonderful to be in a marriage and um, try to do it because you're gone all the weekends, you're going to galas and
Right.
networking, you're, doing showcases and
It's a lot.
competitions and stuff like that. And it took me away from him way too much. But I did work there for a few years and I did love it. And I have so many amazing memories of working there.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So then give us a little bit. So how did you and where that was you were still in New York at the time?
Yep. Still Saratoga Springs
So Saratoga
downtown.
Springs. So give us the little update on how we ended up in out here in Connecticut.
Well, when I was how many years ago I wrote it in 2016, so I was 25. I got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes.
Damn.
Yeah, so that was a lot, and dancing wasn't going to fit the picture anymore. And we had friends who had moved here that we had known in Saratoga Springs. They're in the Navy, so they have to like relocate all these different places, and they were moving to Connecticut. And so we decided to come down and check it out because my doctor was telling me that Jocelyn Care is the best care that you can get for diabetes, and Connecticut is where that stems from. So we came down here,
Oh.
saw the area. I love my team of doctors. I love them. Our friends are 9 minutes away. They live right down the road.
What's crazy, Fran, is I feel like that was right before I moved out to do any of my digital nomad adventure because then I remember Kevin and I connected, I think shortly after that, because he had told me he had just moved, I think, to Connecticut or maybe somewhere else, but he had told me about the friends that you guys had. And then also he had just gotten a job, I think,
Hmm.
there, if I
Yep.
remember correctly.
He moved to Best Buy. He did the whole Best Buy thing in Saratoga, and he was able to transfer down here and do Best Buy here for a little bit.
And then,
And he ended up at EB. He ended up General Dynamics
oh,
Electric Boat,
wow.
which is working for the government, and he designs submarines or stuff
Okay.
within submarines for the government.
Okay, that's what I thought. And I think he had just started that the
Yeah.
last time when we did his pod, which is
Yeah, he
crazy.
did like a training course and yeah.
I
Oh
know,
yeah,
and
he's
yeah, he's like, this is intense, but it seemed like a cool gig. And so now 4 or 5 years later, you you guys are still in Connecticut. Is he still
yes.
there?
At EB, yes.
Yeah, he's still EB.
Yes.
And now, so at what point then do you transition and do start getting into these different assets of your online biz?
Well, so when I first moved to Connecticut, it took me 8 months to get a job. 8 months with
Wow.
my gung ho attitude, my personable, personality, my extremely clean resume. It took me 8 months. Connecticut at the time, or I guess just in general, is all about people whoever you know. If you know somebody,
Yeah.
you're going to get a job. If you don't know anybody, good luck to you. Like you're not, they're just not going to hand them out to you.
I
And
feel like
that's
that's the life lesson right there.
so I was like,
Relationships.
oh shit, what am I going to do? So I finally got a job, and it's a job I'm currently working in now that
Hmm.
I'm desperately trying to leave 5 years later. Because I've been there for 5 years. I am a manager. I manage
Oh,
a
wow.
chiropractor and massage office. We are the top one in the area, thanks to me. We have perfect reviews. We're the best. We are the best in the area. And I manage the whole damn place. Now, when I say I manage the whole damn place, you think of a manager, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, but you have a team, right? So, like, you have an admin and you have an accounting department. Nope. Nope. I'm that. I do that. I do 4 or 5 people's jobs in my job, and I get paid
That
a measly $20 an hour.
what?
That's it. That's
And
it.
especially in Connecticut, because Connecticut it's an
It's
expensive
bougie.
state. Yeah, it's a bougie
Yes, and
state.
it is. It's super expensive. Everything about it.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay, so
yeah,
Franny, that's crazy. So I want to. There's a couple things I want to dive into, but I also want to rewind because I didn't realize about the diabetes thing, and I just want to touch on that for a second. How did you? So when I was maybe probably I guess maybe 5, 6 years ago now too, I had kind of a health
I remember.
diagnosis thing. Yeah. And so that's something I've been dealing with. I'm curious with diabetes, how did that sit with you and how did you handle it, I guess, mentally and
It
emotionally? That's serious.
was, yeah, no, it was clouded. Type 1 diabetes means that your pancreas dies. It's autoimmune. So my pancreas just one day was just like, see ya, done here. Don't want to do it no more. And just gave up. And I was just like, cool, and a lot of people are uneducated on diabetes. I
Yes.
myself, I
Myself. Yep.
was too. I
Me
was
too.
too. If you don't have to, if like you don't have to know it, you don't have to know it, right?
Yeah.
It's just one of those things like type 1 versus type 2. And now I'm kind of like, oh, I wish more people knew about it, but at the same time, I can totally understand why they don't know about it. So type
Yeah.
2, I always hear oh, but you're not heavy. Oh, but you
Yeah.
don't have a lot of weight on you. And I'm like, yeah, that's type 2. Type 1 is where your pancreas just shits out on you. And then
Yeah.
type 2 is more dietary,
In
you
type two,
know,
you can
you
kind of
kind
get
of do
out
it
of
to
it.
yourself, unfortunately.
Can you get out of it once you've done it?
You can, yeah.
You
If
can. You
you
can
catch it early
course
enough,
correct
you
it.
can. There's ways to definitely manage it, but your pancreas is still working to some degree. I don't know if I know too many success stories because I more study into the type 1 than I do the type 2, but
Yeah.
I'm sure there are success stories where they lost a ton of weight and they ate healthy and they changed everything about
Yeah.
it and now they're probably good. But
With
type
type
1,
one,
you
you're
can't do that.
yeah, it's for life, right?
It's for life. Yeah.
How
It's
did
definitely
that
for life.
how'd that change you
Oh my
getting the
God.
diagnosis?
In so many ways. First of all, Kevin and I used to eat like crap. And I don't, I always, in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, did I kind of do this to myself? But I know I didn't necessarily. It's just, and the thing is, it doesn't even run my family. I was like, I'm the first.
Lucky you.
I'm
You
the
got the lotto
leader.
ticket.
You know
Yeah.
me. You know me, just the leader in whatever I do, basically. So
Wow.
it was, I remember during dance, I wasn't able to see. I wasn't seeing very well, and I was wearing contacts. And when I wear my contacts, I feel like I can see better. And I was just like, God, I can't. You drive. I just my vision's all weird today. And then I paid attention to it. It was a couple of days. It was really bad. It was really weird. And I was like, this is so strange. We should maybe, set me up with an eye doctor or something. We should probably get this looked at. And it was like just saying the words and just kind of keeping it in mind.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, I'm freaking turning emaciated. Like, I didn't realize it at the time, but like I've always been petite, but
Yeah.
I was on another level of like you could see all of the bones in your chest area,
Wow.
and I was just like, what is going on? I like my boobs were gone, like just lost them.
Wow.
And
Just
I just
lost it.
was like,
Where'd they go?
I was like, I
Wait,
don't know what's going
were you
on. I'm
still
just
eating?
dancing so much, maybe. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, all the time. Yeah. And
Really?
so I was like, this is so weird. And then I would get super thirsty and I would down a glass of Kool Aid. Okay. A Kool Aid. Good old Kool Aid. Oh, yeah. It runs through the walls.
Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Okay. So I would down a glass of sugary Kool Aid and then I would pass out basically on the couch because I could not stay awake. So I would literally be like, and I'd be out, and Kevin would be like, what is
this
going
Kool-Aid
on with
got
you?
something
Like
in it, Franny.
something is so weird. So I started Googling it. And before we went to urgent care one day, I said, I have diabetes. I know I do. They laughed at me when I came in. They were like, yeah, okay. And I was like, no, I'm
No.
like 100% sure. Like, I have diabetes. Like, we need to do blood work. Fine, we'll do the blood work. And I was just like, are you shitting me right now? Like,
That's
don't give me a hard
crazy.
time about it. Like,
Here's
so
the thing. It's probably because people all try to self-diagnose and come with just the weirdest
of
theories,
course,
and they're
and I
probably
get
like,
that.
okay, yeah. But
Yeah,
you probably
okay.
had like actually done like some like serious due diligence to
Significant
like figure out.
research on it. I was like,
Yeah.
I have all of the symptoms. Like, it's literally all
Yeah.
there.
I've
And I
drank a
almost
glass
passed
of
out in the
Kool-Aid.
shower. One of the days I almost passed out in the shower because my sugar was like too low. And so Kevin was like, "Are you okay? What?" You know, he's just like, he's baffled. Like something's weird
Yeah.
going on with her. And I just
Yeah.
don't know. So I finally go, I tell them this, they do the blood work. And then they come back and they go, "I'm really sorry, but you have type 1 diabetes. And this is forever. And if you do nothing, you will die by age 40.
Wow.
And I was just like,
Excuse me?
what? I was in
That's
a fog. Like
insane.
from that moment, I went into like a 2-week fog of I was there, but I was not there. Like I was
Yeah.
like, everything was cloudy. And then she proceeds to tell me, "We're going to get you in with a specialist first thing tomorrow. She's really great. She's going to go over how to give you shots and how to change your diet and how to carb count." And, you know, they're feeding like all this crazy information at me. Like they're saying, your entire life is totally different from this point forward. Do not eat any
Wow.
carbs. Any carbs. So I had to go on like a 2-week no carb diet, which essentially includes cheese, meats, iceberg lettuce, celery.
What?
Yeah. So we did everything for 2 full weeks with no carbs to bring my A1C down. My A1C, which is your average 3-month average of blood sugar, was 14 when I got diagnosed, which is
So
really bad.
I was gonna say, for someone who's out of the game who doesn't know what that means,
Yeah, it's
define
really
for me.
bad. You want to be 5, 4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm now a 7, which is a good spot. That's a really good spot
Nice.
for a diabetic. So, but yeah, I mean, I was learning how to give myself a shot the next day. I remember looking at the specialist and she was like, "Okay, so this is how you do it. And here you go." And she hands it to me and I was like, "Okay." And she's like, "Go ahead." And I was like, "Can't he give me the shot?" And she was like, "No, honey. I mean, he can give you the shot, but he's not always going to be there to give you
Right.
shots. Like, you got to learn
Right.
how to do it." And I was
Yeah.
like, I am petrified of needles.
Oh,
And
no.
now here I am having to give myself not just 1 shot a day, like 6 shots a day. And I was like, "Are you
Damn.
kidding me?" It was insane. Everything has changed. We eat so much healthier now, though. I can carb count. I know how food digests. I know how it works in the
Yeah.
system. It's
You become almost like a
obviously helped me
nutritionist.
stay trim.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were an educator of all things when it comes to it.
So,
Insane.
so
Absolutely
at this
insane.
point,
So,
and I know this is like a little bit off, not exactly where I was planning on going, but I'm fascinated by this. Is what about can you wear like a continuous glucose monitor, like any of that sort of
yes.
stuff? Like,
Look at you
is that
learning your
hey,
terminology.
listen, I know a little bit here and there,
Wow.
but does that, so do you have to still do the 6 shots a day, or does that kind of help, like,
Yeah, no.
talk to me, what's it look
So
like now?
at first they were like, "You should get on a pump." So I learned about a pump and what a pump is. A pump is like this, monitor thing, and then there's tubing, and the tubing goes over your body, and it does the insulin for you because it's a robot. And at first they were like, "No, you can't have the pump because you have to learn how to, regulate it yourself with your
Mm,
shots and understand how it works." And then they were like, "You should go on the pump." And I was like, "No, I don't want to go on the pump." So we
yeah.
did the continuous glucose monitor. So basically what this is, it's a sticker and there's a filament attached to the sticker. A filament, like imagine an eyelash, right? And there's a
Mm,
needle. It's in a contraption. You press a button, it gets needled into you, and it sticks. The sticker sticks in. So the filament's in you, the needle comes back out, and it's on there. Then you connect a Bluetooth device, a transmitter, and that is what connects to a reader or your phone. Like if you have a phone that works with it, it can connect to your
oh,
phone.
cool.
On the reader, it'll tell you what your level is at all times. So you'll know what it is. Now, it's a robot. It's not foolproof. Like, it's
Right.
definitely wrong. When Nick Jonas came on the Super Bowl commercial and he was like, "No finger pricks are needed," I was like, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. Yeah, no, you're going to kill a few people today by that commercial. Like, for
Yeah.
real. People are stupid. So, like 50 to 100 points off sometimes it can be. And that's
Mm.
dangerous when you're messing with insulin.
And
So
how do you know that it is? Just because you have another accurate reader
yeah,
somewhere else?
so then there's finger pricking, right? So there's
Oh,
a little
got
pricker, you prick your
you.
finger, you put it on a test strip, the test strip goes in another thing, and then it tells you what the accurate sugar level is. And then
Got
you
you.
calibrate that thing to make it correct or not. Sometimes that thing
Okay.
is very right, especially if I put it on my arms,
Yeah.
that's the most accurate place for me. But I also put on like you're supposed to rotate it because of the scarring. Like
Right.
you don't want to scar tissue too badly. So you
Right.
rotate it every 10 days when you have to change it. So right now it's on my side.
Wow, Franny, that is insane. I had no idea. I feel like
Yeah.
it's interesting. Just today, this is a weird aside. I started getting some really bad pain in my foot, and I think it might be plantar fasciitis, just because I've been doing a lot
Oh
of martial arts stuff
no.
and walking
Oh,
around.
I feel for
I
you.
know, and I'm like, dude. And so I just we'll see. But I was thinking about today of like how much I take for granted not being in pain. Like when it's
Oh
not
my
until you
gosh. Yes,
get a
I've been
diabetes
thinking
thing,
about
whatever.
that so
Yeah,
much.
it's crazy.
I
You
mean,
just feel
I'm
so
not in
great.
pain with the diabetes mostly. Like mostly as
Yeah,
long as my level's in a good spot, I'm good. If my
yeah,
sugar level's too high, I'm tired. I want to sleep. If it's too
right.
low, I'm panicky. I've got a lot of anxiousness. But if I
Yeah,
keep it steady and happy, everything runs perfectly. Like it's
smooth.
accordingly. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It just there's something I was thinking about today. It was like, man, like I take for granted so at least other parts of my body don't hurt more often. You know, I'm like that I don't
right.
have it in, but it's really once something kind of health is fascinating. It really is like you know,
It is. And it's
it's the
also kind of
foundation.
scary. It's kind of scary
Also,
too. I
kind of
have
scary.
people who come to the office all the time with plantar fasciitis. They see one of our massage therapists. That's the best way. You can also get your foot aligned by a chiropractor if you want.
Mm.
That's usually there's a misalignment. That's usually how it happens.
Okay, after this pod, so we can spare the people, I'm coming for you on some of that info because I would love to pick your brain about it. So hold that thought.
Yeah.
To spare the listeners on my plantar fasciitis, as exciting as that sounds, talk to me about how how the different pieces of kind of Simply Franny started to take place. When did the modeling start? When did these sorts of pieces
2018.
2018. Okay, so what I'm sure there are probably some folks listening like, man, that sounds really rad. How do you just say, yeah, I'm cute. I want to start modeling. How does that even happen?
So when I was in Saratoga Springs and I was at the dance studio, I was the face of the studio. So, you know, young, pretty girl, face of the studio. I was the one that welcomed everybody in, gave them big
Mm,
hugs. I would go to galas and networking events, you know, fancy gowns, stuff like that, make the newspapers, make the magazines, whatever was going on in Saratoga Springs. We were at those events because we wanted
right.
to network that way. And that's how you bring people in. So I got a little taste from that job and I loved it.
Mm,
I loved the luxury side. There's so much more to life than the luxury side. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a materialistic person, but do I like to feel fancy and bougie sometimes? Oh my gosh, yes.
yeah.
It is a wonderful feeling. But do I support the lifestyle that really comes behind it? Not so much. It's
Yeah.
not truly who I am.
Right.
So I got a little taste of it and I loved it. And I don't really remember how it happened, but when we moved to Connecticut, I got to thinking, well, first of all, the Arthur Murray Dance Studio here in Connecticut sought me out and they asked me to work for them. So I did work there for a year, but the staff and I just, it wasn't the same experience. And
Gotcha.
I ended up leaving. It was too busy because I was doing that on top of my manager job. So I didn't see
Wow.
Kevin like at all. And I was like, something's got to
Wow.
give. This isn't
Yeah.
going to work. So um, I was like, I can do modeling. There was like a photo shoot, and they were looking for a married couple. And they wanted you to wear your own wedding dress or whatever. And they wanted to photo shoot you for like a upcoming wedding magazine article or something. So naturally, I submit Kevin and I. Kevin is less than thrilled about this idea. And I am very excited. So we do it. And it was great. And it was a really fun shoot. And the pictures came out wonderfully. And it kind of took off from there. I decided to make an account on Instagram and get started with it. And to just give you some statistics,
Yeah.
I wrote them down. I did 75 shoots my first year in 2018.
Wow.
I worked,
Are you DMing photographers and you're like, hey, do you need a
or they
model?
were DMing me.
Or they DM you? Oh wow. Okay, continue. Sorry to interrupt.
Hmm. I have since then done over 150 overall. I am multi internationally and nationally published in about 40 publications. I have shot with over 60 plus photographers. Some of them were paid, some of them were collabs.
Mm.
So it was just like a matter of that. And videos are my favorite thing that I do. So I like taking photos and I like doing the Photoshop thing. I'm sure you kind of piqued my page a little bit when I
Yeah.
friended you finally on Instagram, and you were probably like, whoa, wait a minute, what did I
Yeah,
miss? You know?
Franny was exactly that. It was
And
exactly that.
there's a lot of people with the exact same reaction where they're like, they'll see me at office, right? And I'll be like, oh, we're hitting it off. Like I think you're a good person. And I don't know. I just feel like you should be part of my life and know more about me. So I'll share my Instagram with them, and they'll go and they'll be like, who is this? This is not the same person that sits at the desk every day. And I'm like,
There's a
sorry, surprise.
different part of me. Yeah, different side of me.
So yeah, it almost feels like a totally different personality. You know, like I have what is that? Multi personality disorder or whatever.
Yeah,
It almost feels like it sometimes just because that is such a different side
right.
of my love in my life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been doing it. I took the last 2 years off a lot. One, because of COVID, but two, I was getting fed up because
With what?
people weren't willing. The photographer model relationship is a really complicated relationship.
Talk to me.
Models expect to be paid. Photographers also want to be paid. Knowing how photography side works, I absolutely agree. Photographers 100% should be paid. But if a photographer reaches out to you as a model and wants to shoot with you, it is therefore pay my rates or let's collab. You
Mm,
have to like come to that agreement. Not I'm going to ask you to shoot with me and these are my rates. So I was getting
right.
fed up because I was like, they don't want to pay me unless I show skin. And that's
Interesting.
not the kind of modeling I want to do. Like
Yeah.
I'm not out here to be like other people on Instagram. I know booty rules the world, like I get
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
my married ass doesn't need to be plastered all over my Instagram. Like that, what am
Yeah.
I gaining from that other than unnecessary comments from people that I don't
Yeah.
even know? I'm just like,
That
I don't.
that Instagram
Thank you for
algorithm too
thinking it's cute. I
is
know it's
crazy.
cute. I don't need you to
Yeah.
tell me that it's cute. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't get it, you know?
Yeah.
So I was getting fed up and I kind of like put my foot down and was like, no, I'm not going to work with people. I'm just not going to work with people unless they start paying me. And it was hard. It was hard to do. So now this year I'm starting to get back into it. In fact, I have a photo shoot on Saturday.
Okay. And so, Franny, for folks that are maybe interested in this sort of stuff, do you have any advice, like things that you've learned now shooting with over
Don't
60
trust
photographers? Like,
everybody. Not
in what
everybody who
way?
has a camera knows what they're doing. Okay.
Got you. Okay.
A lot of men are photographers. Men, mostly men. It is a man driven world. And that's
Mm,
okay. But not all men are good men. Not all men
right.
have intentions that are what you're hoping for. And sometimes they want pictures of you and they say they'll get you published, but like that's not the end all be all. That's not the most exciting thing about it,
Right.
especially if you're doing lingerie pics. They have them, they own them. That is their photo.
Mm,
And it's
yeah.
complicated. So, like, I just, you have to get to a place where you actually trust this person. Don't ever go alone to a photo shoot. Always have an escort with you no matter what. Make sure
Mm,
everybody knows, no, I'm not shooting with you unless my escort can stay. Some of them are very like, no, I can't shoot you if you have somebody there. And you're just like, okay, bye.
wow.
Yeah, I mean, people's intentions are just not always as true when it comes to body art, I guess.
Yeah.
You
No,
know what I
Franny, I think
mean?
that's a great way to put it. And that's as a man, that that wasn't even something that listen, I'm not a model. I've never done anything like that. But when I've done photo shoots and stuff, it's never even been on my radar. You know, it's because now people are like,
Yeah.
wow, like who's that short, scruffy guy? You know what I mean? Just like, I'm trying to like, could you Photoshop this, make me actually look handsome? So
Oh
Franny, when
my
it
God.
comes to that side of things, you got kind of the modeling, and then let's talk about some of the other buckets. And this
So
sort of,
yes, I did the
yeah.
modeling thing. Some of the other buckets are the personal shopping. So
Okay, so I'd
personal
love to dive into
shopping,
this.
I I am a great gift giver. I love giving gifts. I love shopping for gifts. I pride myself in doing it. I can find anyone the perfect gift that they are looking for someone for a good price. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, I found you the best gift. Kicker, it's $500.
Yeah.
That's not me. I'm going to find something that is like a really personalized, perfect gift for somebody. And so I got to thinking, I want to do personal shopping. How hard can it be? Now, when I looked it up, personal shopper is wardrobe, stylist.
Mm.
I don't want to buy clothes for people. I can find you a cute outfit. That's not what I want to do. I want to find you gifts, trips, and experiences. I have
Mm.
had some of the best experiences in my entire life, whether they are out and about and at physical places that you pay money and you attend, or it's a get together and you want to have friends over and you don't know what you want to do, but you want to have friends over, but you're like, let's make it extra special. I've
Yeah.
got a hat full of ideas that you can do with that friend group to really make it amazing. Like
Franny,
a really
if
fun time.
if we were gonna give, maybe could you give us maybe one of those things, like one example of maybe one thing you've done or something that people
Like
listening could.
blind taste testing. Okay. So
Oh,
you
that's
come
a fun
over
one.
and you go, we're going to do a taste test. Oh, you're going to do a taste test. What are you going to do? We're going to taste test all of the different chocolate bars or all of the different chocolate ice creams. And you're going to guess
Ooh,
which ones they are. You're going to guess, rate them, which one's your favorite. And then we're going to tally it up. And now
that's
you've just spent
fun.
the last hour and a half eating good food and blindfolded. It's a fun experience. It's something you've never done before. And you had a group, and you can do it for everything. Like literally
Yeah,
every item of food on the market you can do it for.
that's
And we
interesting.
saw that on Good Mythical Morning a little bit too. That's one of the YouTube shows that we watch. So we kind of had an idea from that. We're like, well, let's try it. But when you actually try it with people who don't watch that YouTube channel and they have no idea about what it is, it's like
Yeah,
brand new to them. They love it.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so we got the personal shopping piece, which is kind of also its experiences, things of that nature, and
Yep.
then
The
so give me
harvesting.
the next bucket. The harvesting. Okay, you dropped this on me earlier. I would love to dive into this.
Okay, so the bees need a lot of help. We're screwed. Yeah, we're screwed. If we keep
Oh,
continuing down the path we are, not feeding the bees, not caring for the environment, like this planet is totally gone. We're done for. So,
I didn't realize the bees were in trouble like that.
oh, they are.
Their bees needed a little love. Okay.
They
Well,
do.
maybe
And
if
they
they
run
stopped
the It's
stinging me,
crazy to think that like
I'd be
they
down to
run the
help.
world, but they do. They run the entire planet. Without bees, there's no life. It's insane.
How? Do that many animals need
They
honey?
No,
Is it
pollinators. They're
pollination?
the
Oh, I'm an idiot.
pollination of
I
things.
was I was
Yes.
like I was like, do it like I know
Plants.
like the bears eat honey. I was like, what's up with that? Oh wow.
The bears
Yeah.
are the fault of this.
Oh,
So,
because the pollination. I should have paid attention in science class. Okay, that's why I'm
well,
trying to be a
yeah, and
rapper, and
I
that's
should
why
too. I
you do
think it's like
harvest.
right. It's one of those things where you don't study up on it. It's not the first thing in the media, and shame on the media for doing that.
Eh,
It's not the first thing out there. And it should be because well, here we are. So I've always planted flowers. I love flowers. I'm very flower oriented. So I plant seeds and the seeds come up and the bees eat the flowers. And then I started harvesting my own seeds. I'm very resourceful and
Mm.
sustainable. So I don't like waste. I'm not a big waster. So when I see these flowers finishing, I go, oh, well, that's a seed pod. Maybe I'll just, I'll dissect it. And I don't know if you know this, but like a marigold, do you know what a marigold flower is? It's
Yeah.
like, okay. So when that dies and you get the ugly dead head and you
Yes.
deadhead the marigold, when it dries, There is like 50 flowers in that one pod. 50.
Wow.
It's a ton. And I guarantee you, every single one of them will germinate if taken care of properly.
Well, I know what's crazy about this, Franny, is just this last year, my mom had my dad build. It's like an indoor. It's like a big shelf indoors
Uh-huh.
in my dad's like kind of office area, and it has like all these shelves and these lights to help her. She's just getting into like growing seeds that might not even be like out of season,
Yeah.
so she can like
Yeah.
these like lights and stuff. And so my mom, last time I was home, she bought maybe, I don't know, it was a lot of money. It's like $100 worth of seeds or something like that. That like she was so
She's
stoked, and they came. I was like, I'm just getting schooled kind of on the
Oh
outskirts
yeah.
of this business of
It's
the
very it's
harvest.
a very rewarding process too. It's funny as people, as humans, we often forget the outdoor life when we're a kid, right? Go
Yeah,
outside and play. Go outside and play. Go outside and play. So you go outside and you play, and then you feel fulfilled at the end of each day as a child because you have gotten enough fresh air, you've gotten enough sunshine, you've gotten
right.
enough time with nature that you can kind of pay attention to all the stuff that matters out there. When you grow seeds, that feeling comes back. So
Mm,
when you grow seeds and you see the little sprout, and now you have a little sprout, and I did that. I grew that. And then you
yeah,
water it and it grows. And then you water it again. And then it grows. And it continues to grow because you are now taking care of it. When you plant them outside, finally, whether it's fruits or veggies or flowers or whatever, you feel fulfilled. Like you feel happy that you
yeah.
contributed to that. Like that's a big thing. So I definitely know exactly. Your mom and I would hit it off
A
100%.
thousand. She loves the garden. She loves the sea. And like I'm like,
I
Mom,
have
what?
like 50 houseplants
Oh
inside.
man, my mom,
Yeah.
yeah, my mom would love that. She's like, Kia, yeah. It's just different strokes, but I think she's starting to show me a little bit of the light of kind of how powerful that can be, and to grow things. And they also have the
Yeah.
garden, so that having your own
I'm going to
food
try a
plot and
garden
stuff.
this
So,
year for the first time.
well, it
We're going
sounds
to
like
do a
you've got
veggie garden.
a green thumb kind of already practiced. So,
Hopefully, yeah.
okay, so the harvest is
Oh,
that
so
ever
then
part
the
of it?
harvesting,
Yeah, is that part of the business?
selling the seeds, I can sell the seeds if I
Okay, because
harvest my own.
my mom, that's what I'm saying. She bought a bunch of seeds. I didn't realize that was a biz.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I can also the plant business is like very profitable actually.
yeah,
It's expensive.
it
But I
is.
also want to, like, locally around here, I want to offer people a service where I can go to their house, I can plant the seeds grow. I visit once or twice a year. You have to keep your own garden alive. That's not my job, that's your job. And then I can come back at the end of the year. One, I just fed the bees in another household. And I do that at 7 households. I do that at 17 households. I do that at 20 households. I just fed that many more bees. So like
Got
that's
you.
that's a big thing. So now all these bees are happy. Then you go and you harvest them. Either I reap the benefits of keeping the seeds, right? Because I
Right.
planted the garden, I keep the seeds, or you can buy the seeds. You can keep the seeds and I can plant them again next year and come back and it can be an ever-going cycle. It's more of
Yeah.
like a helpless or a selfless thing
Got you.
of my business. I want to help with the
That's
environment.
cool. That's
Yeah.
cool, Franny. I think that sort of like those more impact driven pieces of the
Yeah.
business can be really, I find that too. Like as much as I love the personal music stuff, there's a teaching is something that I've really become kind of passionate about. And there's
Yeah.
something it kind of just scratches a different itch. So okay, so we got harvesting, and what was the next one?
Artwork. I love to paint.
Artwork.
You might remember I loved painting back in high school. I still love to
Yes.
paint. I still love to
Wait,
paint.
Franny, my dad's like one of my dad's best friends. I was gonna say he's Connecticut, but it's Vermont. But it seems like there's quite a culture
Hmm.
for art out there. I'm not sure
Hmm.
what you do. So you said it was painting. I think his maybe
Yep.
watercolor or something. But it seems like
I
there's
love watercolor.
like he
Yeah.
takes them to like there can be show like there's a culture, especially on the East Coast. I think out there for people
Yeah.
that want to
Very,
buy.
very into that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I haven't really witnessed that myself. Basically, right now, it's like if I see a piece of work that I love that's an art piece that is being sold in a store, industrial store, and I go, oh, I like that. I can paint that. I will paint it for myself and I will have it in my own house.
wow.
And so, like, I'll do that. I'm a very good imitation artist, but that is not a prestigious thing. You know what I
Unfortunately,
mean? Like
yeah.
people don't want you're stealing
Yeah.
copyrighted things, but I'm only
Right.
doing it for myself, like in
Right.
my own house. When
No,
I
that's
sell anything though on my own, it's I dug in deeper. I got out of the box and I put something down on canvas and I came up with something, and then I try to sell it.
Do you have certain things that you gravitate towards Spain? Is it fruits, plants, flowers, mountains? What's
Everything.
everything?
Flowers. I've done a watercolor bird that's really good. I've done some bunnies and I've done some sunsets. I'm really good at sunsets and oceans and beaches.
Okay, so we got some of that natural vibe that I can see that tie
Yeah.
in with the harvesting piece.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, they
so
do
no,
actually.
I was gonna say I feel like we got some earthy stuff, but so to go completely left field. So how does in this last part of the pod, I'd love to kind of double click on that online part of your life, on how does this all relate to the Twitch and the YouTube channel? So, break those down.
Well, the Twitch and the YouTube channel are totally different.
Oh,
So
okay.
I've always wanted to do a YouTube channel. I love doing it. I've always been drawn into vlogs and like seeing what people are doing, and I don't know what it is. It's something super inspirational, and I just really was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna do whatever I want. So I do blind boxes, kid toys and shit. Kids rule the future, right? So if I'm opening a bunch of blind boxes
What's a
and they you
Franny?
gotta collect them all,
What's a
gotta
blind
collect them
box?
all thing. So like here, I'll show you one example.
I was gonna say I'm a little out of the YouTube game in that regard.
Okay, so this is a pack of 5 different toys. Inside, you want to collect each one, but it's
Got
blind. You don't know what you're gonna
you.
get.
Okay.
Yeah. So you don't know what you're gonna get.
Okay.
So you open them and you try to get them all. It's exciting. People love the
People
ASMR
love yes.
of opening. They love the packaging. They love collections. Kids,
Yes.
especially. You watch a kid on YouTube, I guarantee they're watching this.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I
My
want to do
my
that.
mom my mom schooled me on last time I was home, this must have been in January, on some kid's YouTube channel that she stumbled on, and this kid has like gazillions of followers, and I think he's just opening things. He's just like
Yeah,
opens new toys or something like that. And I was like,
insane, insane,
yes,
insane,
insane.
insane. And but we love to watch it. It's like watching someone open a gift. You know, it's
Right.
an experience that you like to be part of for whatever reason. Now, right now, because the kid things are the cheaper things, that's what I'm starting with. But eventually, I would like to get to more adult blind boxes. Not so much.
Oh, cool.
I have a bunch of knickknack of child
Yeah.
toys, basically, but
Yeah.
that's one of the segments. Then I do the vlogs with the chickens and the gardens and all of that. I'll be
Okay.
doing
So,
more of that this
because
year.
that's what you told me right before this. You're like, hey, you were working on something on the coop. Do you guys have animals?
Oh, I have 13 chickens. I've
Wow.
got a dog and a cat and a bunny. Yeah, I'm
And
busy.
wow. And
I'm
they
really
don't
busy.
that's not that's yes, that's not a they don't eat each other. The dogs, cat, chicken, bunny combo. Those they play nice for the most part.
They played. Yeah, they're good. The bunny lives inside. Her name's Orion. She lives downstairs because the dog is petrified of her. The cat doesn't like her in her space, but the cat will come and visit her. And the cat mostly sleeps with us upstairs because she's about 12 now. And then Piper, we got a couple of years ago. We rehomed her from a breeder, and she's been living with us ever since that. And she could not be the more perfect dog. Like
Oh,
she is my dog, 100%.
did you guys name her?
No,
Oh, okay. Because
Piper May.
because I was like, I wonder if she was from the Charmed
Oh,
series
oh my
from
gosh, which
back
Kevin
in
was
the day.
Yeah, Kevin loved Piper.
I was
So, yeah,
obsessed with that show back in the day.
same.
I was like, yeah. So it makes you sometimes. I was like, I wonder what younger Kia was, what
But
he was that deviant he was into. But
she's really good with the chickens though. Like just earlier, I had the chickens free ranging while I was cleaning their coop. You have to be out
yeah,
there because the hawks will come down and kill them and
yeah.
steal them. So I'm out there cleaning the coop. She's just laying in the grass. Like she's so
Wow,
good, you know, she knows that they're her birds. So I'll say, let's go check the chickens and she's ready. Let's go.
that's
Like
cool.
it is cool.
Man, see, friend, you've got a lot. And the last piece is the YouTube channel, or is that the Twitch channel?
Oh, the Twitch channel. The last piece is
Twitch
the
channel.
Twitch channel. Kevin's been wanting me to get on Twitch for a while. I said I don't even play video games. He goes, I don't
Yeah.
care. Just try it. So I get on there. I play video games. I go, okay, this is okay. I discover there's an art channel and there's a just chatting section. And so I dive in deeper to those. I've made over $800 on Twitch and I just started in January.
What? Oh wait,
People are
Franny, talk to
so
me.
supportive. People are just so supportive. I would be doing artwork or whatever. I would be focusing on something, my goals, which by the way, I want to talk to you about word of the year sometime. So put that in the back of your head
Okay.
because I think you would really benefit from it.
Okay. I'm actually
So,
gonna.
I'm planning my goals and shit. And one of the things is I'm going to do more artwork. I want to sit down and do more art. So I'm painting and all of a sudden somebody comes on and they see me. I don't see them. It's a chat stream. And oh, what are you painting? Oh, okay. So tell me about your Twitch channel. Oh, okay. So you explain what you're doing it for. I don't know. I'm just trying it out. I'm trying to build an online presence and I'm trying to become my own boss one day. And, these are the things about me. You get to chatting with them and then they donate. They just donate out of the kindness of their heart. Just because I got a donation, this guy came on for 5 minutes, was watching me painting, and then gave me $100.
What?
And I was like, excuse me? I didn't even say anything. I didn't even know you were there. Like, you didn't even talk to me.
Franny,
But they
that's
just,
crazy. I
people
need to get
on
on
Twitch,
Twitch, bro.
you need to get on
I
Twitch.
need to get on Twitch, baby. Let's go.
Seriously, though,
Wow.
it's like one of the most supportive and inspirational platforms I think you can be part of. People on there are just very generous. They want to know how you're growing, what you're interested in as a person, how you're going to get there. They love watching Twitch streamers go from here to go from here. They love being part of that
Mm,
process. They love their
right.
name showing up on their stream. They love, it's a whole
Yes.
community. Like you're building your own community. And then
Wow.
you can plug otherwise while you're there, right? So I can plug my YouTube channel. I can plug my
Yeah.
Amazon wish list. I can plug whatever I want. And then I get all these things. My computer setup is all brand spanking new because of those donations. Buy me a
Wow.
new monitor. I need a second monitor. Okay.
That's
Okay.
crazy. Franny, that's nuts.
Insane.
But I think that's a really good point that people love the process, right? We love to be a
So
part of the
they
journey.
do. So for
Yeah.
me, that side is my inspirational side. And I was thinking about this earlier. Basically, my Simply Franny job is I'm going to do everything I love, all of my passions, all in one place. And I'm going to inspire you enough to pay me or donate to me to keep that dream alive. You're going
Mm,
to love to see all the things that I'm doing and how I'm bettering it. And I've inspired you so much that now you've made changes in your life and you're excited about that.
right.
That you keep my stuff alive and you support me. And it seems far fetched. Like when you say it out loud like that, you're like, whoa. So you're expecting people to just pay you to be you. And I'm just like, why not? But why
Yeah.
not,
Well,
right? It works in any other country. Why in America do we have to put a job title on it? Why do we have to this is your job duty, this is what is expected of you. You have to have a career, you have to push hard, you have to make it for this big thing. You go to Spain and there's a guy who sells flowers on the side of the street because he loves to sell flowers on the side of the street because it makes people smile to buy those flowers that they take home to their wife, and they go every day and they buy a flower every day. And that guy's there every day. And he just loves it. It's his job. That's what he likes to do.
yeah.
He doesn't
Franny,
have a job title, you know?
it's really different how living outside the states for a while. This will be a whole nother pod. But you're right. This sort of there is this, and it's wired deep into us, myself included. I feel this in me too. But this sort of like
Same.
American, like go get it. That like your worth is almost tied to that in a way. That I just in other places I've been
Yeah.
in Asia, down here in South America. There's just like more of a emphasis on like family and enjoying life and the day to day and spending time outside that like and
Yeah.
being fit that it's just an interesting I think in America we do excel in some regards because that's a fascinating culture to be part of and we got a lot of
Yeah.
go-getters and so there if that's what you're looking for there can be a beautiful magic to it but I've in this part of my life too have been really struggling with what maybe even why you reached out to me was in some of those
It is.
podcasts working through where I'm at, kind of
We
processing
are,
those
you and
things.
I
And
are one in the same. We're in the same
yeah,
boat. I am about to take the leap. I'm
yeah,
about to focus on the things that I really want to do, make money for them, and live my life in the most fulfilled way to me, and not have the rest of the world
yeah.
look on me and say,
I,
that's right or wrong.
1,000, Franny,
Yeah.
1,000. And I think that yeah, that's the
And it's
sauce. So
tough.
listen,
It's tough. It's like
that's
real hard, but
when you push against the grain though, and everything else, it's like you get one of these. It depends on what you believe, but for now in this reality, we get one of them. So it's like, why not live it for you? And that's kind of my mo and something I've been. It's easier said than done. Sometimes I slip back
oh
into,
yeah.
and I still don't have big things I want to pursue, but also trying to bring it back to being like, how can I be here today and enjoying this? So, Franny, before we get you out of here, where do you want to point people? Where can we find you? Where can we follow the journey?
Um,
What
okay. So I mean, I'll send you links too so that you can put them in your
Yes,
description box or whatever.
1,000
But
in the show notes.
um, my website is www.simplyfranny.com. There you can find my blog, you can find the personal shopping, the harvesting, and the artwork side of it, how to contact me. I have a Facebook business page for Simply Franny LLC. My Instagram is Effieleighm, EFFLEIGHIN or HM, Effieleighm. Twitch stream is Effieleighm. So just add an IE in the middle of that. Um, Another random thing that I'll have to point in your direction sometime that we didn't get to talk to.
Yeah.
The modeling, I was in a rap video.
Yes. Oh.
I was in a
That
rap
I should
video.
link that up in the description too. No,
Yes, so
that's perfect.
I might give you that link just so that you can laugh about it and bring it up next pod with me so that you can kind of
Yes.
see. And yeah, I'll have to share like fashion shows and stuff too. I've done a lot. I've done a lot. I'm very proud of a lot, but
Franny,
I'm also trying to just get to that next step.
1,000%. And I think that's the beautiful part is it's the process. And listen, you get to the next step and the goalposts continually move is something I'm learning as I go. So
I
it's
know I
how do we
loved
embrace
that.
this
I
part
love that when you said
and
that.
part of the
I was
process?
like,
No,
"Oh."
listen, it's the realist. I'm like, I remember dreaming about being here years ago, and then you're here and you're like, oh, but I'm feeling stuck trying to get there. So it's just it's part of being human. But Franny, thank you so much for coming on the pod. I
You are
appreciate it,
welcome.
y'all.
I appreciate you.
No, 1,000%. Listen, I'm out here just speaking my truth, and it meant the world that resonated with you, folks. If you want to check out any Franny stuff, you heard it from her, and it's in the description. Thank you so much for listening, tuning in. As always, I'll check you on the next one. Peace.